So we're going to start with some singing this morning. You're invited to stand as you're willing and able, and we're going to start with Come, Come, Whoever You Are.
Come, come, whoever you are, wonder, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, come, and again. Let's do it one more time. Come, come, whoever you are, wonder, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come.
Good morning, everyone. I'm the Reverend Chloë Briedé. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the minister here at Emerson Unitarian Universalist Church. Welcome home. Welcome with whatever you are feeling this morning. Welcome if you are feeling angry or numb. Welcome if you are feeling sad or anxious. Welcome if you have cried this week or stayed silent. Welcome if you'd curled up in a ball of despair, or if you've shouted at the universe in outrage. Welcome if you still don't know what to think, or if you are just thinking too much. Welcome if this all feels too big and you feel too small. Welcome if love is easy for you this morning, and especially welcome if love is hard to find. Beloveds, welcome home. Welcome home to Emerson on this hard day in November. Welcome with whatever you are feeling this morning. Welcome home for hugs, for singing, for silence, for prayer, and for the warm embrace of community. Welcome home. Welcome home. Let us take a moment of silence this morning as we arrive at home. Thank you.
Good morning. And welcome to the weekly worship service of Emerson Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm Todd Covert. I use he and him as my pronouns, and it is my privilege to serve as your worship associate this morning. A bit of housekeeping before we go any further. Please be sure you've silenced your electronic devices, and thank you for supporting the well-being of this community by wearing a mask during the service. If you're new to Emerson, I hope that you find this service both spiritually and intellectually engaging, and that you feel truly welcome here. We encourage you to sign either our physical guest book in the foyer or our virtual guest book linked from the chat if you're joining us on Zoom. There you can sign up to receive our weekly newsletter with service announcements and information about other Emerson program offerings, both in person and online. Before we begin our worship service, I want to share a couple of announcements with you. The memorial and celebration of life for Carolyn Martin will be today here at Emerson from 2 to 5. Scott Kaiser will have a crew of folks at the church at 12 noon to help move tables and chairs. If anyone can and wishes to join the crew to help with that, please find Scott at noon. For everyone else, we ask you help out by exiting the sanctuary and the pavilion immediately following the service so that the reception folks can start setting up for the celebration of Carolyn's life. Also, coming up, Saturday, December 7th from 2 to 5 here at Emerson is our annual fundraiser, our festival and auction. We hope to raise $12,000 to meet budget commitments voted on by the membership back in June to sustain and grow our beloved community and its various ministries. This is our major fundraising event of each year, so please mark your calendar, plan to join us. Consider how you participated last year and whether you could once again volunteer, whether you might donate for the auction, an item, a service, or an event, and come prepared to bid in the auction on any one or more of those I just mentioned. You can RSVP, you can donate to the auction at fallfestival.emersonuuc.org. And as always, I invite you to look at the back of your order of service for other announcements. So now let's begin our worship. I invite you to take a moment to center yourself, take in your surroundings, whether you're here in the sanctuary or joining us online, and open your spirit to all the others joining you here for worship in this beloved community. Let us begin our service today by acknowledging that this church stands on land taken from its original inhabitants, members of the Tataviam, Chumash, and Quiche peoples. Forces of racism, colonialism, and imperialism stole their land and decimated their languages and customs. We cannot bear direct witness to what was lost, but as they were stewards of this land, let us honor them by working to heal the damages that have been wrought upon it. As they drew inspiration from this land, let us honor what is precious in it in our own worship. Let us pledge to honor those who carry their traditions and support efforts to restore land to them, that they may rebuild their communities and we may be privileged to learn from their customs. May it be so. And now we light our chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, with these words of Richard S. Gilbert. O flaming chalice, symbol of a free faith, burn with the holy oil of helpfulness and service. Spread warmth and light and hope. Warm hearts grown cold with indifference, light dark places with justice. Rekindle hope in despair. May we bring fuel for thy fire of love. May the oil of loving kindness flow from us to thy leaping flame. May hands of service shelter thee, that no winds of hate may extinguish thy brightness. May thy light and warmth be eternal. May we be keepers of thy flame. Now I invite you to join in reciting our congregational covenant, first in English and then in Spanish. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship. Thus do we covenant. La doctrina de esta iglesia es el amor. La búsqueda de la verdad es su sacramento y el servicio es su oración. Vivir juntos en paz, buscar el conocimiento en libertad, servir a la humanidad en comunión. Este es nuestro pacto. And now I invite you to rise, body or spirit, as you're willing and able, as we join in our next hymn. It's number 123 in the Gray Hymnal, Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me, sing in my all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Welcome once again. Emerson has been a welcoming community, offering a home for open and inclusive spirituality in the Western San Fernando Valley for 70 years now. In our various ministries, we proudly uphold the Unitarian Universalist values of love, equity, justice, and compassion. We hold to no creed and strive to be a place where you can bring your questioning mind and your expansive spirit. We welcome you, whatever your age, community of origin, gender identity, or affectional preference. Come here as you are, be who you are, and whoever you are becoming. We are gathered today for worship both in our physical church in Canoga Park and virtually via the Zoom app. To our members and friends joining us in both spaces, I extend a welcome and a thank you for your ongoing fellowship and support. This beloved community, we would be less without any one of you, and your presence is deeply felt and appreciated. Later in the service, we'll lift up the joys and concerns of the congregation in our embracing meditation. In the Zoom app, there should be a link to our virtual book of life where you can share any joy or concern you'd like shared aloud with the congregation during the service. And as always, those of you here in the sanctuary with me can share those names and occasions in our book of life that's located on the table behind our music director, Kevin Mathie. If you'd like to get to know us better, please join us after the service in the pavilion for fellowship or in breakout rooms for a virtual coffee hour on Zoom. In our worship service this morning, Reverend Chloë continues her series of services centered on the shared values of Unitarian Universalism. This week we'll be looking at the value of justice. And we'll look at justice through a prism that indeed includes this week's election and its ramifications. In a moment, we will take an opportunity to greet our neighbors. That's a good opportunity to share a joy or concern in the book of life, or pick up an order of service if you didn't get one on the way in. And so now, in the spirit of fellowship, let's greet our neighbors.
So I want to start our story for all ages today with a question. And I'm wondering, what have you found comforting this week? Does anybody want to help me out with this? Go ahead, Sharra. Teddy bear, Mr. Bear. That is a great answer. Anyone else? Susan.
Dogs.
What is it?
Dogs.
Dogs. Yeah, me too. Me too. Alexa.
American Tank Sudo.
American Tank Sudo.
Tank Sudo. It's a martial art.
A martial art.
If you're upset, it's a great place to go get your anger out. But also, I spent Saturday doing somersaults to like pop punk music.
Nice.
And really, that brings a little bit of joy into the day.
Somersaults to punk music. I love it. I love it. Let's go Tess and then Linda.
Been reading a lot on the UUA's Dr. Sophia calls, and then watching Rachel Maddow, this kind of monologue she did was so inspiring. And I've been watching it over and over, and just she puts it all in perspective, and that's been really great.
Reading on the UUA website, Sophia Betancourt, Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt, our Unitarian Universalist Association president, her writings, and then also watching Rachel Maddow is what Tessa said. Linda.
Disconnecting from politics totally.
Yeah.
Blocking all incoming texts.
Huh. So disconnecting from social media completely and blocking all incoming texts. I think that's lovely. So we're doing one of the things that brings me comfort today. You'll notice that there's a little more singing today than normal, and we're doing that because I think that's a way that we can find comfort. So the week of the COVID-19 pandemic, the week that it hit America nationwide, I was in my congregational internship in Arlington, Massachusetts, and my supervisor, the Reverend Marta Flanagan, at the time taught us a Taizé chant, and she taught it to the entire congregation. The words to it are, "All will be well, and all will be well. All manner of things will be well." The quote that this is based on is from Julian of Norwich, who was an anchoress, a woman who set herself apart from society to be with God and lived in an isolated cell during the 1300s. As she isolated in her cell to pray and reflect, she would get visitors asking for advice. In response to one question about sin, she said this quote, "All will be well, and all will be well. All manner of things will be well." I will say that I like this because I don't see it as toxic positivity or too much optimism, but perhaps a prayer or a wish, a way of asking the universe for all to be well, despite whatever we may be going through. This chant has comforted me this week. I've found myself singing it to myself. So we're going to listen to the chant. We're going to play about a minute of it. And then Kevin is going to help us play it and sing it together after we've listened to it. Okay. So as you might notice, this comes from the Christian tradition, and it's called the Taizé community. They're a community in France that mostly focuses, a Christian community in France, that mostly focuses on singing these kind of repetitive songs and chants as a way of worship. And this is one of the ones they use. So we're going to try it together. Kevin's going to play it, and I'm going to try to sing, but I invite you to do it with me, so I'm not alone in that.
All will be well, and all will be well. All manner of things will be well. All will be well, and all will be well. All manner of things will be well. All will be well, and all will be well. All manner of things will be well. Will be well. Will be well.
We are Unitarian Universalists, people of open minds, loving hearts, and welcoming hands.
Check, check. Thank you. Sophia's not going to join me for this today. She will soon, though. I was born by the river in a little tent. No, just like the river, I've been wandering ever since. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh, yes, it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die, 'cause I don't know what's out there beyond the sky. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh, yes, it will. Go to the movies and I go downtown. Somebody keep telling me don't hang around. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh, yes, it will. Then I go to my brother. I say, brother, help me, please. But he winds up knocking me back down on my knees. Now I think I'm able to carry on. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will.
Each week during our service, we take up an offering to support the work of Emerson Unitarian Universalist Church and its many ministries. As part of our commitment, though, to serve the broader community, we share half of that offering with local organizations whose work furthers our mission. This month's Share the Plate recipient is the Unitarian Universalist Justice Ministry of California. The mission of the ministry is to advance justice in our state by cultivating and connecting leaders and communities, and by empowering the public voice of those who share Unitarian Universalist values and principles. You can find them online at UUJMCA for Unitarian Universalist Justice Ministry of California, UUJMCA.org. We will now take up our offering. You can donate online at donate.emersonuuc.org. If you got an order of service, you can scan the QR code, or if you want to, you can send a good old-fashioned check to our address in Canoga Park. Just be sure to write "Share the Plate" in the memo if you do. And now the ushers, I invite you to take up the offering.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
When Reverend Chloë decided some weeks back to build this service around the UU shared value of justice, I was put in mind of a powerful moment from one of my favorite movies. And in the lead up to and the aftermath of this week's election, my thoughts have turned to that scene in that movie repeatedly. If you've noticed my tendency to turn to cinema to amplify ideas about culture and morality over the years, I suspect that this isn't a surprise to you. But I know I'm not alone in that regard. I've had many engaging discussions with other Emersonians over the years of films and the insights that they have to offer. So in this instance, the movie that keeps finding its way into my dialogues with myself about the election is The Verdict, directed by Sidney Lumet and written by the playwright David Mamet. The Verdict centers around a Boston lawyer, Frank Galvin, played by Paul Newman in one of the finest performances of his long and illustrious career. Galvin is an alcoholic, his practice almost non-existent, near rock bottom. Former colleague throws him a lifeline in the form of a slam-dunk medical malpractice suit against a Catholic hospital. And the church represents a formidable adversary, but Galvin declines a settlement offer and decides to go to trial over the objections of his clients. If you've never seen The Verdict, honestly, I can't recommend it strongly enough. Seek it out and watch it. I won't spoil the ending for you if you haven't seen it. But the scene that I have in mind that's been playing out in my head does come near the end. It's Galvin's summation for the jury. And it comes as he has apparently been beaten down by money and power and sheer subterfuge deployed by the church. In this moment, when Newman's character marshals what's left of his integrity and the compassion for his client that has roused him from drink and despair, this is something of what David Mamet has given him to say to the jury. You know, so much of the time we're lost. We say, please God, tell us what is right. Tell us what is true. There's no justice. The rich win. The poor are powerless. We become tired of hearing people lie. After a time, we become dead, a little dead. We start thinking of ourselves as victims, and we become victims, and we become weak. We doubt ourselves, and doubt our institutions, doubt our beliefs. We say, for example, the law is a sham. There is no law. I was a fool for having believed there was. Feels pretty resonant with our current moment, that, doesn't it? Seems to me the world can be isolating enough when our institutions are functional. When they fail us, or worse, seem to actively oppose us, it can bring us to despair. But Galvin reminds the jury of something crucial and ultimately inspiriting. Today, you are the law. You are the law. And not some book, and not the lawyers, or the marble statues, or the trappings of the court. All that they are is symbols of our desire to be just. You are the law. Such a simple statement. But when I hear it, I'm reminded of the fundamental foundation of our constitutional republic, its guiding principle. We, the people. And as cynical as I personally can be about the corrupting influence of money on our society and its government, in my heart I want to believe as Galvin says he does. But he doesn't stop there. And here are the words that have been haunting me this week. The marble statues and the trappings of the court, all that they are is symbols of our desire to be just. All that they are, in effect, is a prayer, a fervent and a frightened prayer. In my religion, we say, act as if you had faith, and faith will be given to you. If we would have faith in justice, we must only believe in ourselves and act with justice. Acts of civic engagement are a prayer, Galvin tells the jurors, a fervent prayer at that, a leap of faith in the face of uncertainty and even moral darkness. Can we believe in ourselves when it seems like we are powerless? I don't know what I think about that, but I strongly endorse the idea that Mamet proposes through Galvin and Newman's brilliant reading, that of committing to participating in our institutions alongside our fellow citizens, whoever they are, whatever their beliefs, as a religious act. And as with any act of faith, through it we're offered an opportunity to transcend our personal despair and recognize our common humanity. Can we get past our antagonisms and find a way back to faith in our institutions and reclaim our institutions as belonging to us, sacred and enduring? Can voting, as much as jury service, become the act of devotion it has been, and at least in my mind should always be, in town halls and council meetings, devotion to a higher purpose than any person or party or transitory cause? I don't know. I don't have any idea about that either, but I can't stop thinking about it and holding on to hope. And I want always to feel what Galvin professes at the end of his summation. I believe that there is justice in our hearts. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. I read today the joys and sorrows, the celebrations and concerns that have been written in our book of life. Todd writes, as a pacifist, I wish enemies and war were no more. But in the world we live in now, Veterans Day reminds us of all who have served, volunteered, and conscripts alike, and of all too persuasive mental health and addiction struggles far too many of them face. Sharra writes, I am happy to be here with all of you today. And I have not seen anything in our virtual book of life today, but anyone on Zoom is always welcome to write in the virtual book of life, and it'll be read out here in service. I'm now going to ring our bell, and you're invited to speak the names of those you hold in your heart out loud. Soren. Barbara. Let us start with a moment of silence, maybe taking some deep breaths in, breathing in and out, and in and out, and in and out. Some silence. This is a prayer from the Reverend Dan Schatz. Sacred love, be with us. Fill our hearts with your balm, driving out hate. Be with us when we are angry, loving still. Be with us when we are afraid, holding us in your arms. Be with us when we are hopeful, helping us to find joy in this yet beautiful world. Sacred love, be with those who have stoked the fires of intolerance, who would turn us from one another. Fill their hearts and open their minds. Sacred love, abide with us and be with us through all the days ahead, through the work, the struggles, the everyday, and the extraordinary moments. give us courage, and bring heart to every step and every soul. For all of this, we pray. Amen, and blessed be. You're welcome to stay seated as we sing another hymn, number 1002, Comfort Me. And I know this is familiar to many.
Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Speak for me, speak for me, speak for me, oh my soul. Speak for me, speak for me, speak for me, oh my soul. Dance with me, dance with me, dance with me, oh my soul. Dance with me, dance with me, dance with me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul.
I start with a reading this morning. It's a poem called Good Bones by Maggie Smith. And if you've heard this before, it's one of my favorites. Life is short, though I keep this from my children. Life is short, and I've shortened mine in 1,000 delicious, ill-advised ways. 1,000 deliciously ill-advised ways I'll keep from my children. The world is at least 50% terrible, and that's a conservative estimate, though I keep this from my children. For every bird, there's a stone thrown at a bird. For every loved child, a child broken, bagged, and sunk in a lake. Life is short, and the world is at least half terrible. And for every kind of stranger, there is one who will break you, though I keep this from my children. I'm trying to sell them the world. Any decent realtor walking you through a real shithole, she says, chirps on about good bones. This place could be beautiful, right? You could make this place beautiful. My sermon this week was supposed to be about justice. I had hoped to write a sermon on continuing the fight for justice, even if we like the person in office. On embracing our new justice value, which reads, "We work to be diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where all thrive. We covenant to dismantle racism and all forms of systematic oppression. We support the use of inclusive democratic processes to make decisions within our congregations, our association, and society at large." I had hoped to lean into that today with hope and joy. And that's not where we are. Like a lot of you, I saw the polls before Tuesday night, and I knew intellectually what they said. I knew intellectually what a 50% chance means, what a coin flip means. We even had a watch party gathering here at Emerson, and as I planned it, I felt optimistic glee. And I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for what came on Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. I was not ready to face another conservative presidency, Senate, and possibly House. I'm not ready. I don't want to be ready. And this is where we find ourselves. I won't go into all the reasons why we lost. I will leave that to New Yorker think pieces and ABC News specials. What I want to say instead is that right now, it's perfectly normal to still be processing, to be feeling all the feelings, the grief, the overwhelm, the anger, and the sadness. Our Unitarian Universalist Association said this: "Beloveds, we will hold our fear together. We will honor our rage and devastation and grief. We will hold one another ferociously, tenderly, faithfully." Right now is the time for feeling all of our feelings. I'll be honest, after getting over my "I'm not ready for this" feeling, I went to despair on my drive home from church Tuesday night, crying in the car, to anger as my spouse and I processed that night on our walk with the dog, to numbness and resignation the next morning. And for a while now, the feeling I felt the most for days on end is resentment, a delicious mix of anger and displeasure. I'm resentful that we have to fight for another 4 years. I'm angry that we have to hear his name for another 4 years. I'm resentful that people will be forced to make difficult choices to protect themselves. I'm angry that people I love and people I don't even know will get hurt. I feel Maggie Smith's poem Good Bones so much right now, especially as she says, "This world is at least 50% terrible." And that's a conservative estimate, though I keep this from my children. The world feels terrible right now, especially as Americans have elected someone who thrives on hatred and division, especially as we know the rights of those we care about will be threatened. Right now is the time for feeling all of our feelings. What are you feeling right now? The words from our association remind us that we are holding these emotions not alone, but together. Together in beloved community. An idea we embrace from Martin Luther King Jr., who adopted it from Josiah Royce. King said, "Our goal is to create a beloved community, and this will require a qualitative change in our souls, as well as a quantitative change in our lives." And we have been practicing beloved community. Here at Emerson, we practiced it on Tuesday as we sat together as despair set in. We practiced it on Wednesday as another group gathered on Zoom together. We practiced it on Thursday as we sat vigil and processed emotions together. And we are practicing it right now. Beloved community, coming together, feeling all our feelings on this Sunday morning. Our association said, "Beloveds, we will hold our fear together. We will honor our rage and devastation and grief. We will hold on to one another ferociously, tenderly, and faithfully." Maya Angelou, in her poem Alone, says it another way. Lying, thinking last night how to find my soul a home where water is not thirsty and bread loaf is not stone, I came up with one thing, and I don't believe I'm wrong, that nobody but nobody can make it out here alone. Alone, all alone, nobody but nobody can make it out here alone. There are some millionaires with money they can't use. Their wives run around like banshees. Their children sing the blues. They've got expensive doctors to cure their hearts of stone. But nobody, no, nobody can make it out here alone. Alone, all alone, nobody but nobody can make it out here alone. Now, if you listen closely, I tell you what I know. Storm clouds are gathering, the wind is gonna blow, the race of man is suffering, and I hear the moan, 'cause nobody but nobody can make it out here alone. Alone, all alone. Nobody but nobody can make it out here alone. Beloveds, we cannot make it out here alone. I said this sermon was supposed to be about our new justice value, and it is, just not in the way I hoped or expected. Most of the pieces I've read about how to handle things now emphasize that the step after feeling our feelings is gathering in community. It gives the first part of our new value more meaning. We work to be diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where all thrive. Our work, especially as we enter into this terrible time, is leaning into our beloved community. It is working towards that beloved community, both in our congregation and in our world. Part of our work is taking care of each other right now. It is shoring up our reserves and preparing for the hard journey ahead together. It's knowing in our hearts that Maya Angelou is right when she says that nobody but nobody can make it out here alone. This week, a couple of friends texted to check on me and vent. I checked on a couple other people. A colleague called, a colleague I'm not even that close to, called to check in. I've heard others say the same thing, checking in on our friends and family and each other, people at church or other friends. Leaning into this beloved community means putting a renewed emphasis on caring for each other as we prepare to do this work. This may be cooking for each other, sending cards, calling to check in, getting lunch or coffee, creating spaces for people to reflect and refresh. We need each other more than ever. How can we care for our community as we move further into the work of the larger world? How can we care for our community as we do this justice work? Care for each other. The work of dismantling racism and oppression and protecting the democratic process. Work that just got harder and perhaps more important than ever. For a summer in college, I spent time organizing in New Brunswick, New Jersey. I had gone there to help them with a campaign to make the city council more democratic. The work was powerful, and we had an admirable goal: to create more representation for students and minorities in the city government, a city government run by a rich, powerful, white political machine from one little part of town. What made that work powerful and motivational, though, was the community we created while doing it. We ate meals together, we sang songs together, we went on walks together. Yes, as college kids do, we also partied a bit, but it wasn't about the partying, it was about the community we created around the campaign. We were in it together, and we supported each other and cared deeply for each other. We would not have been able to do the work of justice without the work of creating a beloved community together. We need each other, beloveds. We need each other more than ever over these coming weeks and months and years. We need each other. Feel your feelings, my friends, and lean into your beloved community. We cannot do this alone. We cannot make it out here alone. I want to close with the words from our association. Beloveds, we will hold our fear together. We will honor our rage and devastation and grief. We will hold one another ferociously, tenderly, and faithfully. And then we will move deliberately. We will invest in trust. We will claim joy and rest and sustenance. We will resist en masse. We will fight fascism and continue the struggle for democracy. We will continue to build our movement for justice. We will focus our efforts and abandon distractions. We will create safe harbors for those in danger. We will leverage our resources. We will sharpen our skills and our analysis. We will act as if no person is disposable. We will refuse the politics of division and despair. We will seek the wisdom of elders and of history. We will weave deeper connections with our neighbors. We will fight for our survival. And we will create the conditions of possibilities for our thriving and liberation. And perhaps I would add, we will make this place beautiful together. Amen. Our closing hymn this morning is 10:15, I Know I Can.
Though days be dark with storms and burdens weigh my heart, though troubles wait at every turn, I know I can go on. When sorrow deals my soul and burdens make me strong, though troubles wait at every turn, I know I can go on. My siblings in my heart, my kindred in my song, though troubles wait at every turn, I know I can go on. And though the journey is long, the destination is near, though troubles wait at every turn, I know I can go on. So siblings, take my hand, and kindred, sing my song. When hope awaits at every turn, I know I can go on.
Someone next to you if you'd like, or if that's doesn't feel good, you're welcome to give yourself a hug, which is something I like. Beloveds, feel your feelings and then turn to beloved community. As we continue the fight for thriving and liberation, know you are not alone. You are loved by this community. May it be so. Amen. And if you would like to join us for coffee hour this morning, we are actually on the playground outside, so grab your jackets. And they're going to be setting up in here for the memorial service. So you're welcome to wander outside and grab some coffee. And then if you would like to help with setup for the memorial, you can stay in here.